Let's go to these now. More details are emerging after former Public Enterprises Minister Melusi Gigaba handed himself to the police in Pretoria early this morning. The authorities now say that he has not been arrested. Gigaba will therefore not appear in the Specialized Commercial Crimes Court today. The National Prosecuting Authority says his charges relate to the irregular procurement of multi-million rands worth of locomotives at Transnet. And Gigaba, who's also an ANC member of the NEC, will then soon step aside from all party responsibilities. All right, let's now welcome Mr. Rudie Heyneke, who's the Outa Senior Project Manager, to help us all further unpack Dr Malusi Gigaba's handing himself over to the IDAC officers at the CSIR early this morning. Now, Gigaba is engaging, we understand, with IDAC and is yet to be charged. And according to the statement that he released, the charges may be related to procurement processes at Transnet. Rudie, it's a pleasure, sir. Welcome. So it seems that the wheels of justice in some long stagnated cases are now fast gaining some traction. Dr. Gigaba was said to be formally charged in connection with ongoing investigations looking into corruption at Transnet. What is your reaction as Outa, especially since there's also been clarity that IDAC's probe into him is not necessarily linked to procurement or related to wrongdoing, but in fact relates to allegations of his collusion with the Guptas, which we'll get into when you've responded to the first part of my question, sir.
Good afternoon, Alicia. Yes, first of all, I think, it is good news for us that the IDAC is engaging with Mr. Gigaba. It is also apparent that there is something brewing, him being on social media early this morning saying that I'm being charged, etc., etc. The IDAC saying that we are only engaging with him. And now we cannot predict or dictate to the IDAC what they must do. Like the previous speaker said, Professor Kotze, it's the rule of law. They must do what they must do. And at this stage, we are where we are in the prosecutions of the State Capture Commission implicated people. On the second part of your question with regards to the relationship with the Guptas and possible gratification received by the former minister, I can say that there was a very, very cozy relationship between the former minister and the Guptas. He was always on top of the list of, their inviting, when they invited people to their events, if it was the Soccer World Cup in 2010 or Diwali or weddings and so forth. He always sat with the J Gupta on the at the main table. So there was a very cozy relationship. We can also recall his ex-wife testifying at the Zondo Commission about huge amounts of cash that was stacked in the house. And then the Chief Justice that recommended that Mr. Gigaba must be investigated. So this is where we are now. And with the IDAC engaging with former Minister Gigaba, I think it's a good sign, and I think we will see more action going forward on this specific issue.
And Rudie, I mean, how does then this particular case, should he then finally be charged, I'm talking about Dr. Gigaba, then move forward? Because the matter with the Guptas has so far eluded South African officials. How do you foresee this case then moving forward? Any fruitful prospects? He was supposed to appear in court today, but that also didn't materialize.
Yes, like I said before, we cannot dictate the processes for the IDAC and what they are planning to do and what they are going to do in the future, hopefully in the near future. But we must also remember that some of these investigations take a long time. Outa being in the investigation space as well, we know exactly sometimes how long you wait for documents that you, in our case, that we request via PIA application. In the police matters, they subpoena these documentation and it must be analyzed. So, and then of course, you do get people that does not really cooperate with the investigators. So I'm not surprised that, investigations are taking long. I know that the public and everybody is not so patient about this. We want to see action. We want to see the implicated people that were named in the Zondo Commission to be charged and that they appear in court. And hopefully, this action today, and also what we see with the Madlanga Commission and the ad hoc commission into the police affairs, it feels to me that there's a new will to move forward, people coming forward, giving information, testifying about matters. So hopefully this is a turnaround for the country in these prosecutions and charges that must be laid.
And that's exactly it, Rudie. I mean, we still, as the country, as you've just rightly pointed out, are still grappling with some revelations and recommendations from the various commissions of inquiry. We are told that about 11 billion rand has since been recovered after these inquiries, but we are not seeing the perps actually behind bars. Is there a point then to these expensive inquiries that lead to naught? Retired Chief Justice Zondo also bemoaned his very commission, saying that the fact that there hasn't been much movement since his findings.
Yes, it is disappointing that, you know, we have to wait this long for any movement and for real action to take place. But like I said, you know, some of these investigations they really, it's difficult. It is, especially in the money flows, that you must analyze the money flows and get witnesses, get banks to cooperate and so forth. It's not an excuse. I think we all know about all the excuses and the problems that the IDAC, the NPA has got, and what they promoted, you know, previously in saying that they don't have the budget, they don't have the people, they don't have capacity. Hopefully, you know, next week we will hear the medium-term budget speech, and hopefully there will be more money being made available so that we can take action on the findings and recommendations of commissions like the Zondo Commission and the current Madlanga Commission, so that we can see faster and more precise action taken on this.
A very quick one in closing, Rudie. I mean, let's look at the so-called deal. You spoke about perps being brought into account, right? The so-called deal with the state, with Angelo Agrizi, so that he actually avoids jail time. He basically turns a state witness on matters that led to state capture. He was charged with corruption related to more than 1.8 billion rand in tenders received by Bosasa. Is this not a dangerous precedence by the state, you think?
Well, to go into a plea bargain is always a possibility for the state, and if they enter into a plea bargain and get the cooperation of the accused, then, you know, the rest of the case becomes easier for rather, you know, chasing this specific accused and not really getting to the kingpins of the criminalities. So it is part of our legal system, and it's part of the prosecution processes. So if we can, you know, make plea bargains with accused people, but get faster and quicker to the main kingpins of the criminalities, I am all for that.
Thank you so much, Rudie. A very interesting engagement there. That is Mr. Rudie Heyneke there. He's the Outa Senior Project Manager, weighing in on corruption matters in relation to, of course, Dr Malusi Gigaba, as well as Angelo Agrizi's deal with the state.